Hello and welcome to ITxB. Today I want to briefly talk about something very striking that I've been thinking about in the past couple of days, and that's the difference between countries that bring us highly digitalized products versus those that bring us highly industrialized products. The reason for that is that, I live in Germany, and Germans are known for their industrial products and their engineers. You know, they're mechanical engineers as opposed to software engineers. And then I've also spent some time in California where, now they're known for their incredible user experience, their software prowess, and all of those tech companies, all of those startups in Silicon Valley. And I was wondering, why is it that, the differences are so huge? And it seems that industrialized countries have a hard time catching up with, the digitalized, I want to call it digitalized countries or companies such as Apple, Google, Facebook, you name it. So, what is the important difference between the two? And I've found that the level of integration with not only the users but also the suppliers to the companies plays a really big role in this, right? So when we look at an industrialized country that uses industrial processes still to its advantage, such as Germany or Japan, where we have all of the Kaizen, lean management, no waste policies, something very striking happens here. Number one, you can't make mistakes, right? Making mistakes is bad, and we've spent about 40, 50 years rooting out every mistake in the production process because once the product goes to the customer, it stays there and you have no way of changing it, right? So it has to be perfect the moment it rolls out of your factory, and particularly the moment your customer turns it on or installs it at home, right? This has been in the past. Now, however, it's possible to increase the functionalities or improve the functionalities of the product once the product is with the end customer through updates, right? Think of your phone. Your phone's getting better and better and better. I got a phone out of my drawer the other day, and just for the heck of it, I thought, let's start it up. It was probably 5, 6 years old. And the first thing it told me, well, there's an update available. You want to install the update? I installed the update, and it basically worked like a modern phone. Apart from, maybe the resolution of the screen, maybe the camera wasn't as good, but I could use basically everything I use on my current phone, which is, texting, calling, WhatsApp, camera, Instagram, whatever. It all worked. It was all there. So the product had become not only better, it had become almost as good as a product I could buy right now off the market. That's something that's not going to happen with, for example, your car, right? Try to get your 10-year-old Golf out of a garage and try to make it run as fast and as smooth as a Golf that was bought yesterday. It's just not going to happen. There are not going to be any updates. The engine is going to stay the same, the suspension is going to stay the same, and the seats you're sitting in is going to stay the same unless you're buying a new seat, but I guess that's kind of cheating, right? So the point here is that in those industrialized countries, the focus is very much on the state of the product once it leaves the factory, and that's the state of the product as it is going to be. And in order to achieve that, there's a huge vertical integration, right? So you have all of the suppliers, they're manufacturing a piece of the final product. Let's stay with the car example, right? So there's one supplier that makes the screws, then there's the next supplier who uses those screws to put them in the engine, and then the engine is being delivered to, I don't know, BMW, and over there it's going to be put in the chassis for the car. And all of those suppliers, they're basically part of one big corporation. They have SLAs in place. I'm not sure if they call them SLAs, but they have contracts in place for a certain quality of the material that they have to deliver. And that's what's going to happen, right? So there's not a lot of leeway, and there's certainly no room for errors. On the other hand, when you look at startups in Silicon Valley, there's a lot of room for error, right? It's even encouraged. When they roll out a product, it's not necessarily done. I'm not trying to offend anybody here, but it's not going to be a finished 100% perfect product. But what it is it's quick to market, it's up to date, and it's basically exactly what the user wants. So how do they achieve that? They get all of the data from the user back, right? They are in a huge network with all of their users, and whenever you do something on, for example, your phone, Apple or Google or whichever the OS manufacturer might be is going to know. And they're going to know how you use your phone, and they're going to improve based on that. Now think about the same thing for your BMW that you just bought, right? BMW in Munich, Germany is not going to know how you drive your car. They're not going to know what you do with it. They don't even know necessarily where you go with it, because navigation systems have been very outdated for a long, long time. Actually, I remember the last car I was in, it had a DVD to install the maps on, right? And that wasn't even that long ago. I'm pretty sure it's mostly still the same thing. Maybe they're like slowly updating to have some navigation systems in there. I think they just bought the Here system from Nokia a couple of years ago, so maybe they're starting to implement that in their navigation systems now. But that's not necessarily enough. That's great. Now you can update your maps and have your users have current maps all the time. But you still don't really know where your users go, or how they go there, how fast they go, where they might encounter problems, how you can solve those problems. And even if you did, there was no way of updating your product, right? So we're starting to experience a shift towards where companies do want to do that. And I feel like the key pivotal factor here is allowing for errors, right? Which, again, such industries have spent decades to eliminate. So now we have to have a bit of a mind shift towards errors are fine. Try something new and try to integrate what the user wants from you. So it's basically a combination of two factors: allowing for errors and collecting and using data. So you have to create a network with all of these products. And it's not enough to say we have digitalized our company, which means that we're now using all kinds of software. That's fine. But digitalization has to go one step further. It has to be the connection of all of the products with the consumers, with the suppliers, and the producer. Because only then can you know how the user is using your product and you can improve upon what you deliver to them. Well, I guess that was kind of a long monologue, but let me know what you think about this topic down in the comments. I'm looking forward to reading them all, trying to get into a discussion with you, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you next time. Bye.